The U.S. Department of Justice just unveiled an antitrust lawsuit against Apple under the Sherman Antitrust Act. Apple is accused of excluding alternative software that would have competed with official offerings, such as the iPhone's web browser. Apple is also accused of degrading performance of cross-device messaging, excluding streaming apps that make users less dependent on native device features, and abusing their power in the phone market to influence accessory sales. Last time the DOJ did something like this, it was the antitrust case against Microsoft in 1998. Apple has been bundling their own browser with iPhone since they were launched and abusing their position to stifle competing browsers. The 1998 case with Microsoft concerned the inclusion of Internet Explorer with Windows and the browser-exclusive ActiveX features, needlessly blocking browser compatibility. Of course, this raises a question. If Microsoft was convicted of a Sherman Act case for doing essentially the same thing, why would Apple think they can get away with it now and take it even further? The answer lies with a controversial settlement. Microsoft was supposed to be broken up, but a settlement offered by the younger Bush administration in 2001 allowed them to escape judgment. There were some small restrictions imposed on Microsoft that, to my knowledge, were never fully enforced. Microsoft never ceased bundling their browsers with Windows and never offered browser choice shortcuts to help customers find alternatives. Microsoft went on to continue their anti-competitive behavior, such as keeping DirectX exclusive to Windows and Microsoft's consoles until somewhat recently. They even recently started pestering users of other browsers like Chrome to switch to Edge when detecting the browser's launch. I would make the argument that the last-minute decision to spare Microsoft effectively undermined the deterrence value of the Sherman Act in consumer tech. All manner of anti-competitive practices the industry is rife with now can be traced back to this dangerous precedent, where politics took the place of justice. Returning to Apple and present news, it bears mentioning that the EU's case against App Store restrictions is slowly forcing Apple to make some concessions. Apple is going to be forced to allow sideloading of apps and some additional app publishing for EU-based customers. So far, Apple has confined those improvements to EU customers only, and have taken steps like requiring browsers to have multiple versions that seem to just add additional challenges for third parties. If the US DOJ takes aim at the same behavior, perhaps Apple will be forced to offer the same concessions for other large markets, or worldwide, that they are already making in the EU. This is a subject I could rant for days about because Apple's current dominant position in the US arose due to other shady practices beyond those alleged in this Sherman Act case, but I think you get the idea. It's good to see that the DOJ is finally paying attention to the actual bad actors in our tech industry. For too long, they've been distracted with claims against other parties who have actually been pretty fair by comparison. The reality is that a Sherman Act is never going to deter this kind of behavior until the original sin of allowing parties like Apple and Microsoft to violate it with impunity has been addressed. For that reason, this is good news for consumers. All manner of devices and services will see an increase in innovation when artificial barriers are removed.